During my interview, I quite literally blacked out. If you tell people, yeah, I don't have any experience because, the opportunities just never came, that's not a good enough answer. So the worst thing that you can do for yourself is to work so hard, make opportunities for yourself, and walk into an interview never having spoken to anybody else in that space. One person responds and can change the whole trajectory of your job application process. That means you're doing something right. Like, you probably should be confident. Hey y'all, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be chatting about the job search journey and how to create opportunities for yourself as you're getting ready to apply to jobs, whether this is post-grad, whether you're wanting to pivot in your career. Hopefully this advice will help you feel empowered and give a little bit of hope on the job search journey, because I know that it can be so crazy, so stressful. It taught me a lot, and I'm excited to share that with you today. All right, let's get ready. So the first thing that I'm going to say is that if you are just graduated college, preparing to graduate college, and you're like, how am I gonna get a job? How am I going to promote myself? How am I gonna make myself stand out? The key thing that you have to learn how to do is draw a line between all of your experiences. The internship that I did over the summer that helped me get the job now, we had to do a summer project, and super proud of my project. The team took it after I was done the internship. I'll talk more about that at another time, but during my presentation, my final presentation, there were so many disruptions. People were coming into the room I reserved, all this stuff. And at the end of my presentation, the global CMO unmuted herself and said that she was very impressed by my ability to stay calm and stay focused despite the distractions in my presentation. Now, guess what? My ability to do that has absolutely nothing to do with my experience in marketing. Actually, that internship was my first really marketing specific professional role. But besides just being able to put things on your resume, you have to be very aware of the experiences you've had and the skills that they give you. I didn't learn how to stay calm during a presentation because I've had a ton of corporate experience. Like, I had just graduated. I haven't even had a proper full-time job yet. The skills that I used in that moment, I learned from the 6 years that I spent from high school through college being a waitress and dealing with customers. I learned those skills during my late nights working as a resident assistant and having to deal with drunk, high, mean students. I learned presentation skills from my classes when I had to give a class presentation. I mean, I know personally, and my situation was, there are people who maybe you don't have time to be in all the speaking clubs. You don't have time to do all the extracurriculars. You don't necessarily have the connections to get that first amazing job. And you can get really discouraged because it's like, well, I don't have time to do anything because I always have to work. What is your part-time job that you're doing right now teaching you? Because those 6 years waitressing, honestly, I would do it again, like, made such an impact and gave me those skills. And because I could draw a line through all of my experiences, I'm confident in my skills to handle those disrupting situations. I'm not going to put waitressing in a box and say, oh, because that wasn't, fancy or flashy, that season of my life didn't give me any skills. No, I'm very aware of the skills that waitressing gave me. And I know I have so much to learn, as I'm literally just starting my career, so much to learn. But I can say for something that I've spent 6 years in customer service, and I'm pretty good at handling conflict, handling stressful situations. And similarly, being an RA taught me that, if not even more, having to deal with very intense emotional situations and mental health, and even dangerous situations with like firearms, like so many things. I can definitely say I learned a lot from that. And so think back through your experiences and be able to tie a line through all of them. It was so rewarding. A few weeks ago, I got to be on like a little panel talking to students who are applying to the internship program that I just finished. Really exciting, just hearing about some of their interests, the things that they want to do, and some of them just have such like amazing experience. Something though that I would say is that even if you haven't had the experience, make the experience. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity to come to start building your resume, building your portfolio. During college, the school I went to had an internship program, so thankfully I did get to do some internships, but none of them were in marketing. My first one was in diversity, equity, and inclusion. I learned how to write professional emails. I learned that all the bullet points have to start with a word in the same tense. I learned how to plan events, how to organize with people. I learned a lot of those just more soft skills that are good to know. My next internship was in private wealth management. I learned how to be confident in a professional space, be confident in a space where I am quite literally the only one that looks like me. I learned that sometimes you don't have the privilege to say the things or act in a way that other people might have the privilege to. And it's important to always present yourself how you want to be perceived. Always. And while we won't always do that, I don't always do that. What? Some days I come to work, I'm so tired. But I know that on a very consistent basis, I'm going to hold myself to the standard of what I want to be perceived. And as time goes on, I'll get better and better at doing that. But all that to say that you might be like, how the heck, girl, did you get this experience and you didn't do an internship in marketing? I was always making the opportunity for myself. And I can give examples from myself and examples from what I've seen other people do. So for me, I've been creating on YouTube for a while, not always consistently, but I was making content. People in my close community saw that, and it allowed me to help people, whether it was through photo shoots, helping them make short form content. I helped a small business make content. All those opportunities just came from putting myself out there on social media. When the internship applications were coming up, I brainstormed like my own independent project to do, completely separate from the internship project in the application, and really applied myself to it. I had fun with it. I dove deep into it, and I made my own portfolio. And like, thankfully, my last term of senior year, there was a class I took that helped me learn more about like meta ads and like a little bit more about like the digital marketing side of things. But my resume was all things I had gone off and done on my own. You cannot wait for the opportunity to come to you. The job market is too saturated. People are too talented. If you tell people, yeah, I don't have any experience because, you know, the opportunities just never came, that's not a good enough answer. Unfortunately, it's not. But fortunately though, because also another thing I think that's fun about that is you really get to put yourself in the work, and that can sometimes make you stand out more than doing a program that 50 other kids did. To be able to say, no, I actually went and took the initiative to start something for myself while being busy, while engaging in these other tasks and things or whatever. I also knew that this is something I loved, and I'm so passionate about it that I took my own time to make something out of it. And, you know, if you are in school or if you're at a point where you want to pivot in your career, don't wait for the opportunity to come to start working towards what you want. I'm reminded of the story I heard of this guy on TikTok. He's a chef, and he made a ton of TikToks about his life as a private chef for a billionaire in New York. Someone reached out to him and hired him to be their own private chef, and that person who hired him was a billionaire in New York. Now the gag is, this guy was not a private chef when he started making his content. He was just making content, acting like he was. Now, don't get me wrong, this guy could cook. I don't know if he taught himself or if he had gone to culinary school, I don't know. But he wasn't in the position of a private chef, but he presented himself as a private chef. And like I said earlier about how you bring yourself into spaces, you have to carry yourself and present yourself how you want to be perceived all the time. Because he wanted to be perceived as a private chef in New York, he became a private chef in New York. And I'm not saying to lie on your resume. Please don't do that. I feel like that's just not worth it, in my opinion. But I am saying that just because you don't have enough experience as the person next to you doesn't mean you can't get the opportunity. Yes, you have to take time to learn. That guy was still posting cooking videos. He wasn't just talking about being a chef without knowing how to cook and chef it up. But he was not a chef. And in a similar way, as you are starting out your career, whatever it is that you want to do, one, see yourself in that position, but two, set yourself up by creating your own opportunities to be able to communicate and have proof that you can handle whatever position it is that you want. Now, a lot of this is about building trust and belief that you can follow through and be good at the job. Now, by doing your own thing, by creating your own opportunities, you're already proving that you are passionate about the work. You're already proving that you're a self-starter, that you're a problem solver, that you have a strong work ethic, that you're dedicated, and all of these things. Now, the icing on top, well, honestly, the foundation for this, the thing that has to be paired with this, for lack of better words, is having a good network. Now, let's say that your phone breaks and you need somebody to fix it like yesterday. If someone walks up to you and says, "Oh, I'm great at fixing phones, and here's my list of phones that I fixed," you might be like, "Okay, cool. I'll probably go with you." But if your best friend, who you know specializes in phones, says, "Oh, actually, I know this person. They didn't go to maybe as good of a school as this person did, but they are literally the best at fixing phones. Like, they're so good, you should go with them." Because you trust your best friend so much, you most likely are going to go with the person that they referred over the stranger. And this is just true in honestly all aspects of life. This is part of why community is so important. We need other people to reinforce and affirm who we are, to remind us of who we are, and to push us into new spaces. And so as you're growing in your career, when it comes to school and things like that, try to grow positive relationships with everybody. And I'm not saying to be friends with everybody. I'm just saying to leave a positive note with everybody. Like, you know that person, maybe you meet them at an event and you talk to them one sentence, like nothing crazy, but you can just tell that they're a really cool person. They come, they're so friendly, they have good vibes, they're nice, like all of that. Be that person with people, because you never know who you're gonna meet. And when you do connect with people who are open to investing in you, make sure to hold that connection. Like when the new year comes around after the holidays, I'm reaching out to my mentors. I'm reaching out to the people that have invested in me to keep that connection. So when it comes specifically to getting jobs, it might be different because you might not really know or be besties with the recruiter for that position. Most likely you're not. And so how in the world do you make these connections? How do you get referred? How do you have someone in your corner? So this process might feel a little bit more unnatural, might feel a little bit more uncomfortable, but it is very important. So firstly, go to events. I was really fortunate. My school was having a visit to Urban and I was able to go with them and meet people through that. And when I met people who were, doing the internship, I made sure to stay connected. I made sure to plug in. I made sure to text them during my application process. I made sure to stay connected. And it helps because they were really nice people, really genuine people. So that made it easier. Sometimes it's not that easy at all. Not saying that it was easy. It was uncomfortable. I was like, does this text sound weird? Like I was like, I'm bothering them so much. Like this could backfire. All of these thoughts. But stay connected. It's so important, and you'd be surprised how little people do it. I think when I did that panel, only like maybe 3-4 people reached out to me. Some of those people might have a referral now, you know what I mean? And so yes, it can seem like everyone's doing it, but I promise you everyone's not. Be that person that reaches out and keeps the connections, because like I said, and it's natural, it's human nature, we do it all the time. That's why when you're shopping on Amazon, you want to see reviews. That's why when you see your friend with a good product, you ask them where they got it from. You don't ask the random person on the street, because you trust that person and that helps you. And so you have to remember the fact that when you are stepping into these spaces, you are a stranger. Nobody knows you. You might know how amazing you are. Your friends might know how amazing you are. Your mom and dad might know how amazing you are. These people don't know you from anywhere. And so the worst thing that you can do for yourself is to do all this work so hard, make opportunities for yourself, study, do everything, and walk into a room, walk into an interview, never having spoken to anybody else in that space. And like sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes there isn't the opportunity to speak to somebody before you go in, and that's okay. Like, do your best still. It's not like, don't give up. Like, you never know what could happen. But I'm just saying that if the opportunity is there, make sure to have those connections in advance. And with that idea of making opportunities for yourself, when it comes to networking, these are a few things that have helped me. So one, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is everything. I did the free trial of LinkedIn Premium that lets you DM people even then they're not a connection. I did the free trial during the month that I was really applying to positions after college. And that was a great decision. I was able to make really cool connections. And even if, you don't know people, like set up a Zoom call. There was this one situation I was applying to a position. I didn't end up getting it, but I think the lesson is still good. I was applying to a position and I reached out to somebody who was on the coordinator level in the department that I would have wanted to work in. And I messaged him, we met on Zoom. He's super cool. He's like, keep me updated on how things go. And at the end of the call, he said, wait, before applying, I'm gonna send you a referral link so you can apply to the job through that link. Do y'all understand how much that will help you on the application process? Literally reaching out to strangers on the internet, on LinkedIn, one person responds and can change the whole trajectory of your job application process. This is what I mean by networking and making those opportunities for yourself, because that automatically puts you at the top of the review list when someone refers you, when someone knows you. And so definitely keep that in mind as you are networking. Similarly with LinkedIn, if there's like a company you want to work at, when you click on the actual company and then you click under it, you can see connections that have worked for that company in the past or work for them now. That's another really, really great way to connect. Even if you haven't talked to someone in a while, just be like, hey, I would love to hop on a Zoom call and learn about your experience here. You don't even necessarily have to say like, hey, I want to get a job there. They might be able to infer that. But just really being curious about their experience, their history, their journey could help you a lot on yours. Another thing I will say is to fake it until you make it. During my interview, I quite literally blacked out. Quite literally. At the end of it, I thought I left my papers at the table. I don't even remember walking out. I was literally freaking out, guys. I was petrified. But later, once I started and I was talking to my manager, she's like, you were so confident and carried yourself so well and just had so many great skills you were talking about. I was in shock because all I remember is freaking blacking out, walking out, saying hi really quickly to the recruiters that I had seen, thinking I had been so awkward when I was saying bye to them, and trying to network with other people, but then just calling my Uber home because I was like freaking out. That's what I remember. But they remember something completely different. And all that to say, please don't let what you think is going on take away from your opportunities. Fake it until you make it. I was freaking out on the inside, but I was really trying not to let that show. And there are so many YouTubers who make videos about confidence and speaking well and presenting yourself well. Maybe I'll make a video about that too. If you're interested, let me know in the comments down below. But how you carry yourself does matter. And I think that when you're starting your career, I at least think it's almost impossible not to be nervous. And I've kind of come to accept the fact that a lot of times I am good at presenting myself in a way where people don't think I'm nervous or people think that I'm really confident. When people used to say, oh my gosh, you're so confident, I used to always respond and be like, oh, I'm not. I'm just basically just outing myself, saying I'm faking it till I'm making it, and that I actually am nervous and usually I'm super anxious. But I decided to stop doing that because if you're coming across as confident, then just be confident. That means you're doing something right. You probably should be confident. So just take the compliment and go with it. Now though, being on the other side of this crazy journey, and maybe I'll make a video about starting off your career, how things change once you are working. The last piece of advice I will say is to give yourself grace. It's so hard not to be super high strung during this process. Like it really is. But just try your best not to be. Try to be confident. If complete strangers are telling you that you are skilled in something or very apt in something, believe them. People who are working and are respected in their fields are not going to go out of their way to give you a compliment that's fake. They just might not care that much to go out of their way to come up with a lie to you. You know what I mean? Like, no one's thinking about you that much, to be honest. But if they do go out of their way to give you a compliment, believe them. When your friends give you a really nice compliment about who you are as a person, believe them. Allow people to praise you, to respect you, and this will also help you realize what you're good at and what your talking points can be during these interviews, during those conversations that you're having in this season. But I hope that this video was encouraging. This is the finished look. Nothing crazy, honestly, super simple. But I'm gonna do my hair and put my dress on. I'll show you that before I head out. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.